Have you ever had that kind of strange feeling that you're just playing a part in your own life? You know, that the you everyone sees isn't the real you deep down. Well, today, we're going to explore that exact feeling and what it might actually mean.
Okay, so let's just start with a simple question. Who are you? No, really. If someone asked you that right now, what's the first thing that would pop into your head?
Is it your job? Maybe you'd say, I'm a teacher, or I'm an engineer, or I'm an artist. It's so easy for what we do to become who we think we are. Or maybe it's about your relationships. You know, I'm a mom, I'm a son, I'm a good friend. These connections are so important, and they often feel like the absolute center of our world.
Or hey, maybe you think you're just the sum of your memories. Like your whole life is this long storybook of good times and bad times, and that story is you. But what if all those things, your job, your relationships, your memories, what if they're not really you? What if they're just part of a character that you've been playing for a very, very long time? So this brings us to this really interesting idea. The personality that you think of as you, all your habits, your opinions, your little quirks, what if it's just a role? A role you started playing so long ago you've completely forgotten you're even acting.
Just picture it like this. Your life is a movie, and you're the star. And you've gotten so wrapped up in the part, so lost in the drama and the plot, that you've totally forgotten that you're just the actor playing the main character.
Now, here's where it gets a little tricky. When we're completely lost in that role, life can start to feel less like an open stage and more like a prison that our own mind builds brick by brick.
See, every character has to have a script, right? And your script is basically this long list of rules you've picked up over the years. It's all the things you've been told you should want, all the things you've learned to be afraid of. It's like the instruction manual for your character.
And the thing is, most of the time, this script just runs on autopilot. It makes us react the same way over and over, chase the same things, run from the same fears, day in and day out. It's kind of like we're robots, just following old programming that we didn't even write ourselves.
So, how does this whole trap actually work? It's pretty simple, really. Just 4 steps. 1, your mind makes thoughts all day long. 2, you're aware of these thoughts. 3, and this is the big one, you forget that they're just thoughts. And 4, you start to believe those thoughts are reality.
And that leads to this really powerful, kind of mind-bending realization. You're not actually in a prison. The prison itself is just an illusion that you've become so identified with that you are the prison.
Okay, that might sound a little intense, but the good news is the way out of this is actually way simpler and gentler than you think. So let's talk about how to wake up from it all. So the obvious question on everyone's mind is, okay, how do you escape, right? How do you break out of a prison that's literally made out of your own thoughts?
And here's the crazy part. You don't fight it. You don't try to struggle against it. You don't try to tear down the walls.
And why not? Well, because fighting the prison just makes it seem more real. When you struggle against a thought or a feeling, you're basically telling yourself, wow, this is a really solid, powerful thing. And that just keeps you stuck.
So instead of fighting, you do something much, much easier. You just notice. You learn to just watch your thoughts, watch your feelings, watch your reactions, without judging them and without getting carried away.
This is the huge shift. You stop being the actor who's totally lost in the role. And instead, you become the quiet, calm awareness in the background that's just watching the whole show. You become the watcher.
So what does life even look like after you make this shift? Well, it's not like your life suddenly becomes perfect. The big change is internal. It's like the movie is still playing, but you've just changed your seat in the theater.
So the plot of your life keeps going. There are still going to be happy moments and sad moments, challenges and victories, but because you're not totally tangled up in the character anymore, your experience of it all is completely different.
You still go to work, you still do the laundry, you still talk to your family. But that constant inner friction, that feeling of always struggling against what's happening, it just starts to dissolve.
Let's look at this side by side. When you're living as the character, life feels like a struggle. You're always resisting things and being driven by fear. But when you shift to being the watcher, that struggle turns into flow. You start to accept what happens, and you feel guided by a sense of peace.
And that really brings us to a final thought here. I want to leave you with just one simple question that can be the beginning of this whole journey for you. So, the next time you notice a really strong emotion, or a thought that just keeps repeating itself,
or you see the character you're playing, just gently and quietly ask yourself this: who is the one that's watching all of this? That one little question, it just might change everything.